Surface chemistry. It's a very important chapter of class 12th and it deals with the phenomena which takes place at the surface of the substances. So it's a branch of chemistry or a part of the chemistry which deals with the study of the phenomena which takes place at the surface of the substances. The most important phenomena which takes place at the surface of the substances is adsorption. But before going into the detail of the adsorption and the other phenomena which takes place, let us first understand this surface chemistry. See, we have to understand solids are the substances which have most well-defined surfaces. Now, what they do is, they always are in process of attracting and retaining the substances, other substances, which can be a solid or a liquid or a gases on their surface, not taking them into their bulk. Now, when this tendency of these solids or this property of these solids to attract and retain these substances on the surface is called adsorption, and it is one of the phenomena which is studied in surface chemistry. In this chapter, we will be dealing with the other phenomena which mainly are the types of adsorption, but fine, they are the phenomena which takes place at the surface of the substances, and that is why they are studied in this part which is called surface chemistry. But now let us first understand the most important surface phenomena called adsorption. See, it's not absorption, AB. What is adsorption is? Tendency of a substance to attract and retain other substances on its surface is called adsorption. That substance is not having the tendency to take that other substance to whom which is that substance is attracting to its bulk. It is retaining it on its surface, not taking into its bulk. This tendency is called adsorption. Like, we have number of examples which takes place around us. We have seen number of examples which takes around us. We might be not aware of them. Like the common thing. Let's take one or two examples which are very common. When we buy new shoes or when we buy the thermos flask, we see that often silica gel pouches are there in that. Now, the main purpose of adding those silica gels is that they absorb the moisture from the shoes, doesn't prevent them from getting wet or from getting what? Spoiled. The same way, the silica gel in the thermos flask is absorbing with the moisture and doesn't the foul smell in those thermos flasks is always prevented because of this. In a very similar way, we know the raw sugar syrup which we get from the sugar cane is brown in color, and which is usually is called, if crystallized into crystals, is called brown sugar, which is used in the bakeries. But the sugar which we normally use in our household, in our normal day-to-day life, is colorless. How a brown colored sugar is made colorless? It is allowed to pass through animal charcoal. Animal charcoal, what animal charcoal is doing in that? It takes out that substance which is giving brown color to that sugar and absorbs it on its surface and thus makes it colorless. In a very similar way, we have seen that in a lot of nowadays we use chimneys in our kitchens. Now, in in most of the cases, what we have seen, we have exhaust pipes coming out of those chimneys. If suppose there is no vent out is possible for those exhaust pipes, what they do is what system is done? Charcoal capsules are used in those chimneys. What basically does these charcoal capsules are doing it? They absorb those harmful gases or those gases which are coming out as an exhaust on them. So these all are the common phenomena which we see around us. So the tendency of a substance to attract and retain other substances on its surface is called adsorption. Now, the substance which is attracting and retaining the other substance on its surface must have a well defined surface, which is most commonly present in solids. Gases doesn't have any well defined surface. So solids are the one which specifically are the best adsorbers. And whatever the other substance which they attract and retain them on this surface are the other one. They can be solids or liquids or they can be gases. Now, two technical terms are used here. The substances which gets adsorbed are called adsorbates, and the substances on which they are adsorbed, which are adsorbing them, are called adsorbents. Now, the adsorbates can be solids, they can be liquids, they can be gases. They can be any one of these three. But adsorbents can be solids, and they can be liquids also, but mainly we are having, or we will study solids. Now, I can give you several other examples. Like this marker ink which I am using, basically when I rub it out, it comes out in the form of a solid powder. So basically it's a solid substance which is sticking to this whiteboard. This whiteboard is attracting and retaining this ink, red ink, and is not letting it to go inside it. So it's an adsorption. If I throw some water on it, this whiteboard, you can see tiny droplets of water on this whiteboard. The water is not going inside it. What is happening is forces of attraction developing between the two. It's an adsorption. And there will be many gases which are around us. They are getting already attracted on this surface, which is actually are not visible to us. It's again is an adsorption. So adsorption is a very common phenomenon which takes place around us. We need to understand actually what exactly are the factors which affect adsorption, which we'll be doing later on, and we have to also study the types of adsorption. But first, let us understand what is basically the difference between adsorption and absorption.